Everybody, welcome back. We're doing another Marvel Future Revolution video. In this one, we're going to be talking about companions and which ones are the best for your stats. A lot of times you hear people say stat sticks. We're going to look at that because it's not always easy to tell, and we've compiled all the information that you should need to be able to make a determination based on that. We'll look at how they vary. We're going to focus on specials. We'll look a little bit at how the rares and commons vary from that, but specials are going to be the ones you want to use your stat sticks on the most. If you're new to the channel, you want to help support it, all those sort of things, Discord link in the description below. You can click the join button, which is next to the subscribe button, hammer down like buttons, all the things, comment. We just appreciate you for whatever you're willing to help with. So, all right, let's get to it.
Bring me WolverThor!
Okay, spreadsheets. So anybody who really knows me, I like to try to put everything in a spot so I can see it in a micro and macro version. So what I've got here is I've got all the companions listed, their rarity, and this is just showing because this is how I tracked it. I had the star level and their levels, and then I've got their stats and then their actual bonus and collection as well. I've got rares and normals down here, but I didn't really focus on that necessarily. So what I'm going to be talking about here is, let's pull up the game for just 1 second so you can understand from the game perspective exactly what I'm talking about. So when you're looking at companions, they all have different stats. All right, I look at America Chavez. She's got different stats here, fixed effects. You know, she certainly has stuff that she acquires when she gets to 5 and 6 stars. We can talk about that too, but I'm mainly talking about their fixed effects. Now, these vary from level 1 all the way up to 60. So when a new companion comes into the game, it might be like, well, how good is that companion going to be statistically? They're all very different. You can see she's level 40 out of 40. And then we've got Athena, which is 5 stars and 50 out of 50. So you're looking at the difference here. It's like, well, wait a minute. America Chavez only has 2 lower attack. She's got a lot less defense. She's got a decent amount of HP lower below that. But if you're trying to build attack and maybe you're deciding between these two, obviously there's a difference with the level, but you understand what the potential is here of those skills to go up. And for instance, another thing you can look at is like, so we just got Jane Foster and it's like 27, 19, and 252. Was that good? I don't know. What's it going to build to? I don't know. You know, so that's the type of stuff you're going to look at when you're trying to decide on the companion. So we're going to jump back to the spreadsheet here because we're going to take all of the different companions, mainly specials, so all, but we're going to touch on rare and common. You shouldn't be using those as stat sticks anyway. But we're going to look at the special companions and see where do they all rank against each other? How do they all do? You know, that sort of thing. So let's jump back over to the spreadsheet. We'll take a peek at it. And all right, so the way to look at this, I'm going to zoom in now that you understand what we're kind of looking at here. I'll zoom in one more for you. So you can see, so when I've got attack here, you can see there's a number, a space, a line, space, number. So how this is set up is that first number in that stat column is telling you what it is when you haven't leveled it at all. It's what you see out the gate, just like we saw with Jane Foster. So Jane Foster, like we said, she had 27, then she had 19, and 252 for HP. So, but once you build Jane Foster up to 6 stars and all the way level her up to 60, so you know the max potential out of her, you know that her attack will go up to 447, her defense will go up to 311, and her HP will go up to 4087. So that's what we've got set up in this spreadsheet. It'll give you an idea of what these stats can go to. Now, again, I've got the stats over here for attack and all these different things. I'm not going to necessarily reference that because that is sort of a decision in and of itself when you're looking at companions. And just for the record, you shouldn't necessarily choose a companion just for these. Okay, you want to start with looking at stuff here, okay, as what it might give you. And then ideally, based on what you're choosing there, will help you increase these as well. Now, if you're choosing between 2 companions that maybe don't have stats you have here, then yeah, maybe you lean in on what's here. So as we look at this and you look at what's the greatest attack one, that's the stat that a lot of people look at. You know, the highest one we got here is Moon Knight at 583. He started off at 36. On the low end here, Looks like the lowest we started with was 22, and it goes to 369. So you can see at the front end there, the 22 goes all the way up to 36, and that range is 369 to 583. Now, close to Moon Knight, we've got America Chavez again at 544. We got Kate Bishop at 525. We got Wong and Punisher both at 505, and then Loki around 486. So, you know, depending if you want to build those, all right, you know, that's kind of where it's at. Everybody after that, you've got a similar tier with Thor and Hulk at 466, Spider-Man and Daredevil at 466 as well. Oddly enough, Gilgamesh wasn't too bad at 447. So when you're looking at these, Icarus, sadly, honestly, is pretty low at 408. I was kind of surprised to find that. But, you know, he does hit pretty hard. So then you're looking at defense. All right, well, what do we got defense-wise? Who's our high defense? So I see a 466 here. It looks like Ghost Rider at 466, Wong at 466. Oddly enough, War Machine's not too bad at 408. But that's it. Everyone else is in the 300s or lower. We got Kate Bishop at 389, Thor at 389, Daredevil at 389, Icarus at 389, Yondu, who's that? Nick Fury. So the defensive stats there are probably not anything you're going to necessarily really care about. I think with Ghost Rider, just oddly enough, it's just if you have him equipped, it's a nice boost for your defense. All right, so then let's look at HP. The highest HP I see here is 4671, obviously on Hulk, and then we also have it on Mordo. Is there anybody in the, and then Punisher's also at 4282. It's the next closest there. We've got Cersei at 4282. And then we've got Nick Fury in the 4000s, Jane Foster with the same amount as him. Then I don't see any 4000s. Then it falls off pretty decently here. I think we've got the America Chavez, Moon Knight. We've got Spider-Man, Yondu. You can kind of get a feel for what the stat sticks are here. I'm going to post an image of this graph on my Discord so that you can kind of get a sneak peek or a quick shot of it. I'll continue to update this, but generally speaking, you get an idea of what the best stat sticks are in the game. Now, again, you want to decide based on what stats you need, but really attack is sort of what you want the most of. That's why a lot of people love having Moon Knight as one of their sticks on their 4 companions. They throw them on there. You know, if I'm also America Chavez, I mean, I guess Kate Bishop, and then either Wong or Punisher, you know, and you can decide, maybe, I mean, Wong's HP is terrible, but his defense is high. So, you know, maybe you like it for that reason. He is a good stat stick, and, you know, he's got the cooldown recovery, and that's where that conversation obviously should precede this one. But when you're looking at that and equipping them, you might want to consider, maybe I want to take Wong up to 6 stars. Maybe I want to level him up to, you know, and really that's the part that you maybe are most deciding, because one of the things I'll say is this currency, jumping back in game for a second, to level somebody up. So this is probably the biggest bottleneck as far as companions go. I know stars feel like they do, but trust me, all of the whales, krakens, etc., they got their characters up at 6 stars, but they don't all have them at 60 here. They don't all have them at level 60 there. Most of them are pretty close to level, but still. So, and they say that these are the things that you need. You need a lot more of these. So you're looking for these specific, companion XP cards, which again, Dark Zone, so that helps you build them up more. I'm sure that Netmarble saw that a little bit. So jumping back to the spreadsheet again, so you get an idea for where these can be. Again, I wanted to put it on what you get right out the gate, and then what it can build up to. This is going to help me decide what to build a little bit. It definitely is making me think, like, you know what? I really maybe want to get Wong as a stat stick. I, oddly enough, have Ultron as a stat stick right now, unfortunately. Now, when you're looking at Ultron compared to some of these other ones, it's kind of like, let me scroll this up. So you've got, you know, 295, 279, and 3269. I mean, it's like, the only reason I brought that up a bit is because I had all the stars on them and I didn't have them in my specials. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll use it for that. But you can see I mean, even some of these lower tier ones down here, he's way lower than this. It's better to have a War Machine, you know, at 6 star on there. Now, when does a War Machine overtake that? You know, that's a great question. So like jumping back in game, and that's a decision again, you're gonna have to make a little bit. So when I'm looking at my companions here, like let's just find, all right, Yondu's a special. You know, so he's at 30 and 30. And then when I'm looking at Yondu compared to my Ultron, he's not as good enough. So it's all right. So it's not a 3-star special is not as good as him there. So what about a 4-star? All right, who do I got? I got Vision is 4-star. I got Cersei. So let's look at Cersei compared to him. You know, it's getting closer, but it's not the same. So somewhere between 4 and 5 stars on a special, it's the same as or equal to or close to equal to a rare. All right. I have not done any of that with any of my commons. They are all level 1. I am not using any of the mats on that. Even if you're not building specials or rares, I highly recommend not doing that. If you look down at these numbers, you know, I mentioned the specials. They're in 18, like when you look at the initial stat that you get before you build them up, 18 for attack, 19 for defense, you know, 170 to 192 for HP. All these guys are lower. You know, you got 12s, 13s, 14s in the attack and defense. You've got you're in 120s and 140s as far as the HP goes. So these guys, you don't, it doesn't matter. The only thing you care about for these guys is starring them up to get some of the stats a little higher. And then it is as far as the collection stats. So when you play with these commons in game, you know, it's like, okay, so I can build a little bit here, but I don't want to manage, I don't want to build that level up. I don't care. I'll take whatever I get. He's 5-star. I'm not going to use that. I'll get what I get from this. And then at some point, if I ever have a plethora of XP cards, maybe I'll look at dropping them on here. But you don't want to ever use these. These guys are just really, really bad. Again, rares, on occasion, you might, you know, use a Volstagg or an Ultron. I did talk about Donna Ports in some of my videos as well for like a Star-Lord. But this is, you know, what you want to focus on as far as this stat sticks, and it's the specials. So again, I'll drop this off in a little screenshot in my Discord. Hopefully it helps you guys decide what you're looking for. Again, this is just one thing to look at. It is not everything, but it will give you an idea. So if you want to see more content like this in the future, or just general gameplay, etc., always try to cover things all Marvel Future Revolution. Consider hammering down that like button, subscribing, notification bells, commenting, come into the Discord, etc. And until next time, we hope you have a wonderful day.